That means this is the group that is ready to talk football with you on this day. Let's see the fellas if we can. We got Dominique. We got RC. Dan Graziano is there. Desmond Howard will join us momentarily. We'll see what album he has chosen behind him today. But we begin with the game of the night, a Tuesday night special from the NFL. Ravens hosting the Cowboys. Dez Bryant up against his former team, not so fast. Before the game, taken off the field during warm-ups because of a positive test. We'll explain. Meanwhile, to the game, late first, Cowboys leading 3-0. Lamar Jackson, 3rd and 14. That's Luke Wilson for 12 yards. It's 4th down. Lamar says, leave it alone. I got this. And he's right. Where's the defense? Lamar, right up the middle, untouched, unseen. That's a 37-yard touchdown. He had 13 carries, 94 yards. Ravens up 7-3. Andy Dalton and the Cowboys looking for an answer. 2nd and 9 from the 13. It's Dalton. Looking left side, Michael Gallup. Yes, touchdown. Cowboys up 10-7. Dalton, 285 yards passing and 2 scores on the night. Ensuing drive for the Ravens. 3rd and 1 at the 35. They just ran all over him. Gus Edwards, that's a 36-yard carry. He had 101 yards on 7 attempts last night. Ravens would miss a field goal, still 10-7 Dallas. Cowboys take over. 1st and 10. That's not what Andy Dalton had in mind. It's tipped, it's picked. Patrick Queen is there. Ravens take over. Dalton can't believe it. Very next play. 1st and 10 at the 38. Lamar. Miles Boykin. Can he keep his feet? Yes, he can. Boykin, his only catch of the night, he makes it count. Ravens take a 14-10 lead. Closing seconds of the half. 17-10 Baltimore. 1 shot in the end zone. No zero blitz for the Ravens. Cowboys, the loft, C.D. Lamb. He's going to get 2 hands on it and can't hold on. Take a look at how close C.D. Lamb is as the seconds tick off before halftime. 17-10 Baltimore at the break. 3rd quarter, same score. Ravens, 3rd and 10 at the 34. Lamar, all night long, able to do this, break, contain, picks up the 1st down. The Ravens rushed for 294 yards on the night. The very next play from the 20, Lamar, Marquise Brown, left corner of the end zone. Hollywood makes the spectacular play. You need to see this. First off, watch the move that he makes. Corner of the end zone, perfect throw, and then dragging the back foot for the score. Ravens go on to win one that in the second half was not as close as the final score might seem. 34-17. Baltimore back in it in the AFC playoff picture. And Lamar Jackson threw the ball just 17 times. That's a career low. But that formula might be best for the Ravens. Since he became the starter in 2018, they are 14-0 when he throws less than 24 times in a game. Specifically 6-0 when he throws 20 or less, winning on average by nearly 4 touchdowns. So let's break it down here, and Desmond has joined the conversation as well. Good morning to you. But Dominique, I will start with you because that's your former team, the Ravens. What is your number 1 takeaway from last night's win?
The Cowboys stink, but aside from that, the Ravens are a dangerous team, and a lot of teams should be scared of them if they get into the playoffs. I don't think that the Ravens are favored by any stretch. Their defense didn't play all that well last night, but they do have a strong defense, and they have an explosive offense. So, the defense wasn't great last night, but they have the defensive backs to shut just about anyone down in the league, and a decent pass rush that, again, didn't show up last night. And the offense, again, isn't perfect, but Lamar at any moment can break away for a run like this or buy some time and connect on a deep touchdown pass. So a lot like the Tennessee Titans, a lot like the Titans snuck into the playoffs last year and upset the Ravens. The Ravens could be in the Titans' shoes this year, going in and making people uncomfortable in the first couple rounds of the playoffs.
Yeah, the Titans did it by bullying people and running the football. And again, Baltimore rushes it for almost 300 yards last night. RC, what's your thought?
Well, my first thought is that the Dallas Cowboys defense is the vaccination that any ailing offense would rush to take. I mean, if the COVID vaccination would make black people feel like this, we'd all rush to take it. And so when you look at what you saw last night, I mean, it was just the perfect storm. It was the storm of a bad defense. It's a storm of a bad team. It's a storm of a Lamar Jackson coming off of the reserve COVID list and understanding that they need a win. When you look at this defense of the Cowboys, they're in the wrong gaps. They're not physical. physical. They don't play well and tackle on the back end. They really serve it up to you however you want it. It is like Burger King. You can have it your way when you're playing against this team. And the Baltimore Ravens came out and did exactly what they needed to do. Listen, we watched this team play hard and compete when they were undermanned against the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. This is what they needed to do. This is what we expected from them. Now it's about what can you do going forward against a very good Cleveland Browns team that is hot. Because you win that game, you now put yourself in position to be a playoff team and go on that run that my brother Dominique is talking about.
Yeah, you see the 4 games on your screen that they have remaining this season. They smashed Cleveland when the two teams met earlier this year, but both teams look vastly different now than they did then. Desmond, your thoughts on the Ravens? Do they look like a legit contender to you?
Absolutely, but guys, I think you hit on one good point about the Cowboys. The Cowboys in 2020, they're not the team that you can measure your team by. So even though they looked great, the Ravens did, it was against the Cowboys. It's like looking at Ohio State, and last week we were talking about, okay, are they really the number 4 team? And then they go out and smash Michigan State. But it's Michigan State, so you really can't judge them by the team that they played against. Now, I tell you one thing, though. Lamar Jackson, you can tell he's getting hot right now. But any other team that plays the Ravens, Greeny, you made an excellent point. If they can force Lamar Jackson to throw the ball 25 times or greater, then they know they stand a chance of beating the Ravens. Now, I love the matchup with the Ravens about to play the Cleveland Browns, because right now what's coming out of Cleveland is straight fire with Baker Mayfield and that group. So I love that matchup. I can't wait. That's going to tell us a lot about both teams and where they really are right now at this point in the season.
So again, there's taking a look at the schedule. And that Giant game, there's a time when we would circle that and say it felt like an easy win. We certainly don't feel that way anymore. So this is not an easy path to the playoffs for Cleveland. At the very beginning of the highlight, we showed you another big story coming out of last night. So many of us were looking forward to seeing Dez Bryant going up against his former team in the Cowboys. And as you saw, he was taken off the field during warm-ups because of a positive test. Dan Graziano, take us through this, because I'm sure many were watching that and saying, how do you have a player getting a positive test on the field in uniform and the game goes on?
Yeah, I spent the first half of the game trying to figure that out with phone calls and texts. Look, what happened is they test every day, right? So every morning they take the nasal swab test. Most teams don't get those results back till the next day, but because the Ravens are near a testing facility in Maryland, they get their results back that night. So while Dez Bryant was on the field, the Ravens were getting their test results back from yesterday morning, and his came back inconclusive. So they pull him off the field, they retest him with a quick rapid result test. That comes back positive. They do the contact tracing with his device, and they interview him about who he's been around. The Ravens have been in sort of this extra strong protocol for the last couple of weeks because of everything that's gone on there. So the league determined that there were not any high-risk close contacts, and everyone else on both teams tested negative, so they allowed the game to go on without Dez Bryant.
So, again, he doesn't get the chance to play. So many, the Ravens have had the worst outbreak of any team in any North American professional sport to this point. They're on the field last night, no Dez Bryant. We'll talk much more about this game and the Cowboys side of it as we continue. But the other big story from the NFL yesterday